Hi. Gather around. It is time. It is time to finish off part 3 of the one-on-one. I had a lot of thoughts, so I split it into 2 videos to make it easier for everybody. Because frankly, I think a lot of things, and I talk really fast as it is. You guys don't need to have me just babbling for 45 minutes at a go. So, if you're new here, my name's Cozy. I like to snark on Sister Wives. Here on YouTube, it is one of my guilty pleasure shows. I've been watching it since 2010. This video is for entertainment purposes only. It is not facts. It should not be taken as such. They are only my opinions about public figures who put their life on television. And that's all I have to introduce this. So we are starting right back in. This video is all about Robyn. Would you like me to end it now? I can. No? We're good? Okay. Thought I'd take the temperature of the room just to check. I'm more than happy to end it here. I don't want to talk about her any more than you guys want to talk about her. Oh, and yes, I am fully aware that 1986 called and would like my hair back. As it dries, as this video goes on, it is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. As it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, I don't want to see in the comments, oh my god, Cozy, your hair. I know. I know how scary it is. I've lived with it for 34 years. Anyway, let's get in to Robyn, because I've stalled long enough. All right. So, the first time we see Robyn, she's sitting down to tell Suki how Kody is sabotaging the relationship and trying to ruin everything. She's like, we're in different places about what's going on in our family. She's like, he's picking fights over stupid things. Is he picking fights over stupid things or because you're... Nope, that's mean. We're not going to say that out loud. You know what I was thinking, but we're not going to say it. Robyn, is he picking fights because he got the QVC bill? Saw the Amazon cart? Any of those things? Uh-oh. Freckles, it's time to film. You coming up? She's thinking about it. For those of you who are new, Freckles has kind of become the channel icon, and sometimes she comes right up here while we film, so we'll see. We did her Enneagram a couple videos ago. She's a 4, so she's awfully moody. Anyway, she claims Kody's angry and she's in mourning. I don't actually get that vibe at all from any of this. I'll be honest. Maybe next time we'll see some more of it. I get the angry vibe, but I don't get the mourning from Robyn. His ego definitely, though, is trashed. And I think, frankly, she's more upset that she doesn't have anybody to blame to make herself the damsel in distress for Kody to come and rescue. Because her fairy tale life, the book closed. It just closed. It said they lived happily ever after, and the book closed, and there was no more conflict. So, she says he wants to go find whatever, and she can't feel like that. So, I took this a couple of different ways. I don't want to read too deeply into it, but there are a couple different things that I thought could be possible, and I really want to hear what you guys thought she was talking about. It sounds like either A, he wants to leave her and he's saying it to her. B, he's off potentially looking for a girlfriend, not necessarily a wife. Or C, that they both want to leave, but she's not letting herself say that. I am not actually saying any of those things are true. It just gave off a vibe that something's not right in paradise. So, Kody comes to Kody-splain, the Robyn-splaining, because it isn't Sister Wives if we don't run this through Google Translate 48 times and come out with like 92 mangoes as the translation. But he says he has thoughts of leaving Robyn and finding another lover. It's interesting to point out here that he didn't say another wife, because Robyn has specifically talked about wanting Sister Wives. So he very specifically doesn't say another wife. I think not to give her that false hope. That's my assumption. Another lover, someone else. But then he wants to look at them and say, I don't love you. I love Robyn. I love the woman I just left. And, like, he must have some weird fantasy he did not play out well enough with the OG3 when he basically already told them that, but I don't know. I also find it super weird that he says he wants to punish himself, and the reality is You're hurting Robyn, your children, and potentially another woman to punish yourself. That doesn't sound like that. That actually sounds like you're just trying to hurt everyone else around you, sir. He also keeps using that phrase. Oh my gosh. He says, manage the relationship. And I don't know why. I really don't. I genuinely, if someone out there can understand why I might do this, it sets my teeth on edge when I hear him say that. I don't know why, but something about that phrase just like really gets at me. And he goes on to say his anger is a turnoff, and it's because he's so honest, he shares everything with her. And anybody who saw my Enneagram video, which I will link down below if you missed it, I did have a section where I said I thought that Kody and Robyn might be dual 4s. And this is one of the sentences actually that made me think that, when he says I'm so honest with her, because part of being in a double 4 relationship is honesty to the point of detriment in some ways. But did he just straight up say he wants to leave her? It's not great. So we come back to Robyn and Suki, and Suki asks where Kody's suspiciousness come from, and Robyn laughs and then goes on like the most unhinged thing I've ever seen. She just laughs and she's like, women in general. And then she's like, well, you know when a woman gets divorced and you're worried that every man is going to be like the man that you just left. And I've never been divorced, but I know about breakups. And yeah, you do worry that there could be other men that you would be attracted to that would be similar to the person you just left. Sure. So you tend to be a little bit more careful and cautious. Also true. She said that's what Kody is going through right now. That's probably a good thing, actually. Being careful and cautious is a good thing. She's like, I work really hard to make sure that he remembers that not all women are bad. AKA, I'm not bad, they're bad, I'm not bad. That's how it felt to me. And then she says the line again about lining up all women. And then imitates, I don't think I can say this on YouTube. We're going to say knocking them down. And it's unhinged. Like, I'm sorry. That's just, ooh. I saw that. I was like, girl, that seems unsafe. So we go to talk to Janelle. And that actually feels like a much safer place for us to be right now. And Suki specifically asks about the line, I don't want Robyn to see how dark I've gotten. And Janelle kind of laughs. And she's like, ah, yeah, noticed that, did ya? But what she says is a lot more nuanced. She goes on to explain that with Kody's communication, the rule is you can't talk about Robyn. She's the loyal one. He doesn't want Robyn seeing or being exposed to things. And she's like, there's definitely this super protective stance there. And Suki points out that Kody's been showing that Robyn always takes the hits for everything, or that they're always bullying Robyn. And she even asked Janelle, did you feel like you were bullying her? And Janelle laughs and she's like, no. There has always been this like sudden framing that Robyn does everything right. She is the paragon of a wife. And if you say anything differently or express a different opinion, even if it's respectful, then you aren't safe to be around. You're a bully. So Janelle's like, as a wife, I should have been able to discuss those feelings with Kody and be allowed to express my opinions, but I was not allowed to ever talk about Robyn. So if Robyn did something that hurt Janelle, or Janelle had a different opinion about how to do something than Robyn, Janelle was not allowed to express that opinion, is essentially what she's trying to say. And she said during COVID, when he spent a lot more time at Robyn's house, everything became off limits. To say anything about Robyn at all, you were not allowed to speak about her, which can very much so explain that scene with Gabe and Garrison out on Coyote Pass peeling logs, where he's like, we thought it was Robyn because, and like Kody just explodes on his sons. So then Suki goes back to Kody and says, do you regret not being stricter in your polygamy rules? And he's like, no. And he's about to be like, I gave them too much freedom, whatever. And Suki's like, and being more equitable with your time? Like, talks over top of him and asks that. All of a sudden, he gets super aggressive with her, like he always does. I can't stand this. You know what? Frankly, let Suki interview the wives, but how about we get a man on stage for Kody? Because he is... He's too aggressive with Suki, and I don't like it. And then he starts going off on how that's such a lie, and having children tell him he's spending too much time at one wife's house. That should tell you something, Kody. Children are very perceptive, and they often just tell you exactly what's in their hearts and minds, because children don't understand how to filter those feelings yet. Also, which children do we think that was? I 100% can tell you which children I think said that to him. I think Gwen said it to him. I think Peyton said it to him. I think Gabriel said it to him. And I think Hunter said it to him. I think that for very specific reasons, but I think those are the children that said it. I think those 4 kids probably told him, I really miss you and I need you here. So he goes on. And so he's like, well, which wife's house wasn't it? He goes, of course it's Robyn. Everything is Robyn's fault. She's so amazing and so perfect, and the family and the wives and the tabloids have to make her evil because they're just so jealous of her. Gag me with a spoon, Kody Brown. Are you kidding me? I absolutely love that he said that anybody who doesn't like Robyn is jealous of her. Frankly, I'm not a fan of Robyn. I never have been. I remember the exact moment originally watching the series where I was like, oh, that woman's a snake and I do not like her. I remember the exact moment. It was the wedding dress fiasco and I was like, oh, okay. I'm not jealous of her. If I were jealous of anybody, it would be Christine, because I have seen the view from her home, and that is everything I am working toward. In fact, I slowly have started like leaking the idea of like, okay, you don't want to go to Montana or North Dakota? What about Utah? But Utah doesn't really have coffee shops, so I don't know if I could live there. But I'm not even jealous of Christine. I love having the life that I have. Thank you, sir. Not everybody is jealous. Okay. Boom. So he points out that there was a time where he would threaten to punch people in the mouth if they talked about Robyn. The problem is he didn't say if that was an inside thought that stayed inside or came out of his mouth. But he said it, and here we are. So he feels like Robyn was being compliant to their family structure. And sir, can I direct you to some videos on my channel? Number 1, the video where I talk about how Robyn wanted to be put into the rotation and all the other wives said no. I believe that was the Robyn and Mary aren't real friends and I'll tell you why video. Or how about the one where I discussed, hey, what traditions did Robyn take or stop that this family always had that we have noticed in watching this series? Doesn't sound compliant to me. And those are just 2 examples. So Suki's going to get Christine's perspective, which is similar to Janelle's. Kody's always felt like he had to protect Robyn from everyone else at the expense of everyone else. So Christine's like, I've looked back and I've dissected my relationship with Robyn. And I can remember a few conversations I had with her. And she fully admits. Now remember, Christine never takes accountability for anything, and neither does Janelle. So she fully admits some of these conversations might have been a bit aggressive. But that they talked about it and they worked it out. Or so she thought. She said Robyn wouldn't let it go and just kept bringing it back up over and over and over. I just kept hearing about it more and more and more. And Christine thought they were fine, but Robyn needed to stay in this place and wallow until she felt validated in her feelings. And this is where we get to the personality test. And Christine shares, Robyn's personality type likes drama, likes talking about it, likes having it, likes discussing it over and over and over again. So then we have to ask Janelle, and do you remember the test? And she laughs, and she's like, a little, and she doesn't really remember what everybody was, and I sort of don't believe her. I think she remembers Robyn, and she is possibly laughing because she's like, oh, that started a whole war, but she doesn't want to say it, because she doesn't know. Once again, I still think Christine went first, so I think she doesn't know what Christine said yet, so she's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. I have amended. I think it was Christine, Janelle, Mary, Kody, Robyn. I don't know if that was my original order, but that's what I think now. And so, but I know Robyn went last. And I know the other wives had to have gone before Kody because of the sneak peeks that we saw. Anyway, neither here nor there. Back on task, Cozy. So, they ask her, did you agree with yours? And she's like, yeah, I was the peacemaker, if I remember correctly, which is the 9. once again, if you haven't seen my Enneagram video, go back, check it out. I did do a really deep dive into it, so we'll see. So before Suki can even finish the question of Mary, Mary's like, nope, I don't remember. I'm like, oh, okay. She said I was like a 3 or a B, which is why I picked 3 for that particular video. And she's like, but I can't remember. She almost has this like air of like, I cannot be bothered with this stupidity. And she's like, obviously it was forgettable for me. I don't think it was either. So we ask Robyn. And of course Robyn's like, I never took the test. Then she goes, someone must have taken the test for me, pretending to be me. And then she goes, and that someone that took the test, they don't even know me at all, Christine. Way to stay on narrative, Robyn. I laughed so hard. I'm sorry. I laughed so hard when it went from I didn't take it to maybe I did to someone took it for me pretending to be me to Christine doesn't even know me. I'm so sorry. Whew. Anyway, I'm not being funny here. She actually did accuse Christine. The entire time she's like making faces and she's mumbling about how maybe she did. And Suki's like, Christine said that your type must like drama and that caused a little tension between you and Christine. Okay. Back together. So Christine asks, so Suki asks Christine, why aren't you and Robyn friends? It's like, did you watch any of this? No? Okay, just checking. Christine's like, I don't trust her. How can you trust someone who says they want the big family? And they keep themselves isolated and keeps Kody at their house all the time. And she's like, so if you don't trust her, how can you be friends? And Christine's like, I'm not, full stop. Like, this episode was a comedy of errors. I thought I was going to be angry. I just can't even hold myself together. I'm so sorry. She's like, when Suki's like, well, you shut that relationship down really quickly. And Christine's like, I'm not going to blame Robyn for everything falling apart, but we're not going to be friends. Christine's like, we probably all have some blame in everything falling apart. So Mary says that the relationship she has with Robyn is one they're still working on. And Mary, she's like, this is my ex-husband's wife, right? And I'm not emotionally 100% there yet. So, Suki's like, so do you consider her your sister wife? And she's like, no, we're not married to the same man. She's not my sister wife. So, Suki kind of gives her this little head nod, like, yeah, you are a single woman. You know? Like, I don't even know. So she said, are you less lonely in Parawan? And Mary goes, yeah. I was like, that's not convincing. Okay. So she goes talk out about her friendship with Jen and how Jen's in Parawan. Jen's always there for her. Jen knows the most about her. And Jen is the one person, what is going on here? Jen is the one person that like she trusts the most. She's like, you're admitting you don't trust your sister wives. And Mary's like, they don't have my back. Oh, also I don't have sister wives, FYI. And so, she says, so you don't fully trust Robyn? And she's like, no. Robyn and I have to build that trust back up. And then she goes into talking about the catfishing. And for years, we've assumed, I'm going to say assumed, or alleged, that maybe Robyn knew more about the catfishing than she let on. So she starts talking about this friend that Robyn had. And this friend is allegedly the infamous Kendra. And so she says this friend was feeding Robyn and Kody information, trying to convince them that I was having an affair. And she's like, when Robyn would ask me, I'd be like, I've never even met this person. I don't know. And so she was pulling away from them because of that. Can you not? I'm sorry, Freckles decided to come in here and chew on the cord for the ring light. And so their trust was broken, but the trust is building back up. And it sounds like it hasn't fully healed, and it may never fully heal. So they go to Robyn and they're like, Robyn's like, somebody was trying to convince me that something was going on. And I told this person, I don't believe you. And if you don't have proof, don't talk to me about this anymore. And so, at that time, it is believed and alleged that Kendra was acting as a go-between between Mary and her catfish, and Robyn and the situation. I don't know how else to put that. And so I've never fully trusted that Robyn wasn't more involved than she's let on that she was. I don't mean that she orchestrated the whole thing. I'm not alleging that. I am alleging that she was giving information to Kendra, and Kendra was using that information in whatever way Kendra wanted to use. That is my allegation. Allegedly. My opinion. I know a lot of people feel very differently, but without more concrete evidence, I am uncomfortable saying on this channel, no, 100% for sure that's what happened. No, I'm not going to do that. So Suki says, so there's a process of rebuilding trust, right, guys? And she's like, no, we're fine. There's never been a problem between us. Oh, okay, well, honey, there is in Mary's head, and that's why she didn't talk to you. So are you really saving face, or you just didn't notice Mary was coming around? So she goes on, she's like, Mary was just too scared to talk to anybody, and it wasn't my fault. Like, that's essentially what she's saying. So Suki presses her, is this a good thing for Mary? And makes the mistake of saying, your ex-sister wife. And Robyn's like, she's my sister wife. And Suki's like, I'm sorry. When I said ex-sister wife, you said something. What was that? And Robyn just like starts sobbing. And she's like, don't you say that to me. You can say it everywhere else, but don't say it to me. She's my sister wife. And she's like, I'm like, oh, Sandra Bernhardt, calm down, right? So she's like, Janelle is my sister wife, and Christine and Mary, and it's like, honey, they don't want to be. They are not. And then she's like, I can't let this go. And that's not me being dramatic. Thanks, Christine. It's so horrible for her to say that. I'm like, if this isn't you being dramatic, what is this? Because this is the worst community theater I've ever watched. Oh, God, I thought we didn't take the test, but I guess, whatever. Drama. Oh. Anyway, so we have to watch the clip of the text chain blowing up again. So we come back from it. Christine shares that she saw the thread, she wasn't on it. Interesting, given that someone suggested adding all of the parents in. I don't think we meant all of the parents. So Christine says, reading through it, it was absolutely insane, and she didn't realize that Robyn's kids felt the way that they did. She even recommends that this needs to be handled in therapy. So Suki asks if Robyn's kids were on the asks if Robyn's kids were actually on the thread, and how did they feel? Which kind of feels like a, were you sure it was her kids? I know that's me reading too much in, but that's how I want to hear the narrative. And Christine's like, they apparently felt like they were being excluded from the very beginning. I didn't know they felt that way from the beginning. And she straightens up and she's like, maybe we should have been told they felt that way. Anyway, so Robyn unironically says what had happened was, and I was like, I've never heard that outside of the internet. Like, I've never heard that outside of memes in my real life. I have never actually heard somebody say what had happened was. Like, not unironically anyway. And she told the kids, she was being told the kids hated her and her kids by a person. Is this person in the room with us right now, Robyn? So she claims she was just now being told that all of this information, that the kids hate her and they hate her kids, and she was only being told this right as the texts were coming in, or just before, or whatever. And so, she was trying to get them on the video call for the sake of the little kids. And she doesn't explain that. So instead she just goes into the house. This gift exchange was really important to the older kids. It's a great memory. And her little kids can't remember who their siblings are. They can't put faces to names. And Robyn, that's your fault. Full stop. They're little. It is not their job. It is your job as their parent to ensure they know who their family members are. Just saying. So, these kids live all over the country. You have pictures. You have 17 seasons worth of a television show that you probably don't want to show your kids because you don't want them to know what kind of person you are. But, okay. So, Oh wait, you know what? Only a few episodes back we were on that Zoom call for McKelty, and pretty much everybody was there. That was a video call. You didn't think? No? Okay. So then she's like, when I started getting kickback, pushback, I hate that. I went, why am I trying? And the fact that she says this the exact same way every single time makes it sound very rehearsed and very fake. With the incorrect words and everything. She doesn't change it. She doesn't deviate from using the incorrect words. Notice, in other areas, she says pushback. But when she tells this story, 99 times out of 100, she says kickback. Very odd, right? It seems super rehearsed. So Suki asks Janelle, and she points out, my kids, a lot of them are on the East Coast, and they can't just jump on a video call on a whim late at night because time zones exist. So then it blew up about, I've been treated so badly and I'm tired of working on this. And Suki's like, oh wow, who said that? And Janelle's like, Robyn. Which, like, I'm assuming she probably exploded about that either after Gwen said something or right after when Hunter said one video call isn't going to fix that they don't know who we are. Because she hated that kid from the word go, in my opinion. Like, anyway, I know that anyway. So Janelle said that all the kids started piling on, and then she says, our kids started saying, we're never going to want to have our own families because of how horrible this experience has been. And I noticed that normally when she says our kids, she means hers and Christine's. But Janelle is also very notorious for saying our kids for the entire family. So it's unclear what group of kids may have said or felt this way. And I'm not going to read into that because everybody's family journey is their own personal business. All I will say about that is if this is how the kids feel, and then that's sad. That is horribly sad. So Janelle says, I don't know how we go from let's not have a video call at 9 p.m. Eastern to you've always hated me, you hate everything about me, and you guys are so horrible to us. So Robyn's like, my kids tried expressing themselves and everybody came in mocking them and dismissing them, which is not what I got from anything anybody else was saying. She claims her kids said to her, we don't feel emotionally safe to be a part of this anymore. And Christine's like, after everything blew up, Robyn said, Dad and I have decided our kids aren't going to do the gift exchange anymore. And the other kids were devastated. And Christine's like, there was not a division between Robyn and her kids. There is now because she put one there. And she said, yeah, some kids get along better with others, but they've always tried to include Robyn's kids. She said she didn't even realize that Robyn felt that way from the beginning. And so Janelle corroborates what Christine was saying, with Robyn saying she wanted to do things separately, but the text that Janelle's family seems to have received, because it seems like she may have been texting separate messages, was your dad and I have decided to do things separately. And I wonder if that's because at that time Janelle was still her sister wife. I don't know. And the kids were like, our dad? Like the dad of all of us? And she's like, Robyn just carries around this weird paranoia that no one ever wanted her. And I don't remember ever saying that. So Suki tells Robyn that both Christine and Janelle were like, they didn't know about how excluded this part of the family felt until the text thread. And Robyn's like, well, that's not necessarily true because I would come to them all the time telling them one of your kids is being hard on one of my kids. And she claims her kids really wanted to belong, but they had other kids telling them that they weren't allowed to be part of the family. And Mary's like, listen, about blending together when Robyn came in, she's like, some folks have gotten very candid at expressing that they felt like this was forced on them, that they didn't get a say or time to adjust. And Suki's like, who? And she's like, multiple people have said it. And based off how quickly things went from telling the kids to the wedding, I would bet they really didn't get a chance to grasp what this was going to mean or prepare for any of the changes that lie ahead. But I really did like Mary not willing to put the names out there because we know how Kody gets when somebody expresses a dissenting opinion. And Janelle absolutely agrees with Mary's assessment. They did not take time to listen to the kids, to hear their hearts. Everything was hurried. It was very sit down, shut up, this family's joining ours, you don't get to talk about it. And I remember from the first episodes where they were talking about, well, you know, kids at school, they go to school for polygamous families and these kids get new moms, so they're familiar with it. Just because they understand someone else's family got a new mom doesn't mean that they understand what it's like to get a new mom themselves. And Janelle's like, we should have taken more time. We should have listened. We should have told them sooner. We should have talked about it. much sooner. And Suki's like, can the family come back from this, Christine? And Christine's like, personally, I'm not willing to fix it. Yes, with the kids, always. But with Kody and Robyn, absolutely not. I'm not interested in healing that yet. And she's like, there's no trust there. Reasonable. So we hop back to talk about Christine's engagement. And we know we talked about it before. And she shares that they met online and that his eyes were the thing that attracted her to him. And she wanted to be looked at with love in those eyes forever. And she thought he was sweet and kind and charming. And for their 4th date, he invited her to his birthday party. And she thought, great, I'll get a chance to meet his family. Because when people are with their family, they're in a much more relaxed environment. They're more willing to show you who they are. And she's like, it was amazing. And at one point he pulled her close and she laid her head on him. And she's like, it felt like my soul took its first breath. And then Suki says, how's the relationship different from Kody? And this is the most bittersweet thing. Like, I almost started to cry here. She's like, David loves me. Oh, that's a knife to the kidneys right there, isn't it? She goes on to say, I don't have to work for it or be anything I'm not. He just loves me, and it's given me a new confidence. And Suki asks her, like, the total girlfriend question about the first kiss, and Christine's like, it was a movie. It was like hours of goodness rolled up into one. And she says she can't wait for Suki to meet him. And I thought that was going to happen, but TLC faked this out by putting the background on David on Max and then not showing us David. But that was really how it ended. So I'm assuming that probably one of the first things we're going to do in this upcoming one is meet David. I would bet it's going to be a little bit more chitter-chatter about him, and then they're going to ask Janelle, have you met David? And she's going to say, yes, he's wonderful, and that's when they're going to bring out David. I would bet that's how it goes. We'll come back next week and see if I'm right. Well, next week. It's Friday. I intended to get this out way earlier. I'm so sorry. One of my kiddos has been sick this week. I had some stuff going on. So that's this. And then one more week of tell-alls, and we'll move on to the talk back and look back. I am going to do recaps of those. I'm assuming they're going to be clip shows, so I'll try to keep it super brief. If I can, I will try to find, if they don't tell us, I'll try to find what episodes the clips came from. If I can't find all of them, I'm sorry, but I will try to make a list of them in the description box so that if you want to go back and watch the clips yourselves or watch the episodes yourselves, you're welcome to, if you're skipping these episodes. And then I'm going to absolutely review the wedding specials. I know some folks have expressed that they're not interested necessarily in seeing it. Maybe you're interested in just hearing about it. We'll see. And then I will start the adventure of the rewatch. I'm already starting to make lists of things to pay close attention to. I'm actually going to start rewatching the episodes and kind of jotting down my thoughts. You guys kind of see me look off camera sometimes. I have a list of notes behind this camera on a computer screen that I can see everything I need so that I don't forget in, like, I don't even want to tell you how big the font is. The only other thing to note is that on Tuesday, I have a medical appointment for my condition. I'm going to go see a neurology specialist to go talk about that. So Tuesday, there may not be any videos, or if there are any shorts or videos, they might be super brief. Don't panic. I will update you guys what's going on as soon as I have more information. It might be nothing. This is the first visit. So other than that, I have nothing else for you. Freckles, you little potential Robyn spy. Do you have anything? Fours stick together, don't they? Do you have anything for us? She does not. We'll see you guys later.